everyone. It's Aurora, Haunter Queen, from Murder House Productions here. We're currently standing outside of Soundstage 13, which houses our newest production, Wendigo. We've been going for a few years doing different original haunted houses, and this one, Windigo, is our biggest yet. So shall we check it out? Yes? Right this way. Right now we are standing in our queue where the guests wait in anticipation before going through our haunt. There's a few things along the walls here. This right here, it's the Appalachian Trail Map, which is where this story is actually set. And as you can see, there's some bloody markings on it, almost like it's some kind of symbol of an offering of some kind. As you continue further, you see there's a description right here of the story. This one, you know exactly what's coming. Or do you? We have our attraction poster, of course. We do one of these every year. It's at the end of this long hall, so as you enter, it's this dramatic, beckoning Wendigo, which is a spirit of the north, an entity, a presence that possesses one to eat another human, or possesses you to transform into the Wendigo itself. It's a demonic entity that has a lot of power. And it's taken hold of Murder House Productions. And this is actually the entrance of our attraction. After the matte black queue, which is a very sleek way to start everything off, we go right into the forest, where we have camouflage netting, we have our Appalachian Trail sign, and this is where the horror begins. As you notice when you walk in, the first thing that most people notice is the ground. You are no longer on a cement floor. This is mulch covering the ground because you're in the woods, girl. And scattered around are dead animals that are being feasted on by Wendigos. You're supposed to feel the presence of something in the room with you. I literally steal things from neighbors' like yards and then borrow things from people online because I don't have a lot of stuff. It's pretty DIY. That's actually the only thing that I bought, like spent a lot of money buying, and that's a real taxidermy goat. She's an unfortunate victim of this Wendigo because the Wendigos in this room love animals, as you can tell. We're entering the cave of the Windigo. It's the rock caves. We used paper to simulate rock. I think we've done a pretty good job here of simulating rock with paper. It's butcher paper, which is it's so nice to use butcher paper for multiple things. We use it for our trees, we use it for the rocks, we use it on the ground. Super, super DIY. The cave of the Windigo, though, very, very important to our storytelling, because that is where, in some lore and legend, the Windigo actually resides, in a cave. So you hear dripping sounds. It's very Knott's in here, very Knott's Berry Farm, with the dripping sounds and effects in the lantern. And there's actually some secret cave drawings over here on the walls, and those tell the story of people sort of worshiping this Wendigo spirit. As you go throughout the maze, you will see these little storytelling elements that sort of tie everything together. The floor here is slightly more elevated. We've packed 2 bags of mulch on the floor right here as opposed to just 1 to give a little bit of a different texture on the ground. It's a little bit higher than the floor in there. Next, we leave the cave of the Wendigo and we come upon a campsite, which is all made out of canvas material. It's made to look like a easy up tent, but it's made out of wood and canvas. And again, camo scattered around gives the illusion of height to the forest, and there's a little openings in the camo actually, and if you look through them, you see the night sky. My favorite thing to do in haunts is add small little vignette scenes throughout them, where you almost miss them walking through. You have to go multiple times. This is one example. It's a little campsite over here. You see matches strewn about and food that had been cooked. Like, what's going on there? Well, someone was in a hurry to get out of here, clearly. And then you sneak on into this tent right here, somebody's camping out here. And this character, this specific character, her name is Claire. And she finds out the exact location of where the Windigo sighting may be during the full moon. So she travels in the woods with her dog. She ends up becoming possessed by the Windigo lore and legend and actually surrenders her soul. And something goes horribly wrong when her dog returns from the woods. The dog ends up getting possessed. Spoiler alert. So this is the end of the Appalachian Trail, the specific section of the Appalachian Trail. And this is our favorite sections to do in a haunt, forest scenes. And this one in particular is the most elaborate one we've ever done. You see there's stuff above me, there's stuff on the sides of me, there's mirrors bordering everywhere. We use mirror effects to add depth to space. And we use paper for the trees, as I mentioned before. There's also something else on the ground here, not just mulch, but pine needles. We have also some real trees right over here that we cut down from our front yard. We had a tree that was dead, we had to cut it down, and it was perfect timing. So we secured them to the walls of our attraction. And this is a perfect background for a character in here that's getting possessed by the Windigo spirit right in front of you. And when the strobe light hits, this background illuminates and it looks like a real forest in the distance. This is our elaborate barn facade, also known as the nest, where the Windigos feast. This was a work of labor and love, this barn facade. We did a barn scene last year, but I felt like it needed a whole nother go. And this one's made out of all knotty pine wood. It was all distressed by us, by hand. All these vines are made by us. And, hi there. A little secret passageway into the caves. We try to utilize all the space that we have, and so we have no like exits, no hides really. Everything's sort of right in front of you. So this was just perfect. We can just utilize both sides of it. There's no wasted space here. And then this is the edge of a tree that actually borders the entire center of the forest. And you can see it from mostly every scene except for the interior scene, which we should head on into because it's my favorite. We add a lot of stuff in your face and it creeps people out every time they come through, and it smells like poo as well, which creeps people out. There's hay on the ground as well. We love textured floors. This is wooden floor that we added, and we dusted it with hay to add that smell as well. Definitely smells like an animal as it has been in here. We try to go for as much realism as possible. There's barn equipment strewn about. This is maybe a storage room in this local barn that was overtaken by the Windigos. This is their nest. This is where they feast, so it's the goriest as well. And there's a character right here who comes out and scares you. This is a really loud scare, gets everyone every time. There's tons of etchings as well on the walls. There's blood everywhere. When I was doing this, I want to add some kind of like trick-or-treat sort of blood writing on the walls because it was so much fun when we did that the first year, and I figured this was a perfect way to do it. It's very Blair Witch, it's very possession, it's blood markings from the Windigos, and the Windigos are sort of worshipping the Windigo spirit for bringing them back to life during the full moon. You actually see the spirit of the Windigo in their form in this next scene. This final scene that we have is the tallest scene that we've actually ever accomplished. It's the old water silo, where the Windigo sort of feasts on the souls, actually, of the victims that have been possessed. And it's also where the bones of the dead get tossed in here. There's many bones strewn about, and they've been here for a while because there's some webcasting done here. The audio in here is also very important. Audio is probably the most important thing out of everything that we do. I think it's one of our standout qualities of our haunt, actually, is our audio. And in here it's the sound of the souls screaming and crying, and it's very hellish in this scene. The strobing lights are very disorienting as well. And then we have a giant Windigo puppet creature that comes out and pushes you out of this hole that has been burst out of the silo. Very, very messy and dirty and distressed in this final silo scene as you make your escape out here and back into the forest. Final transition area is just camo netting. It's a sort of little exit hallway that you hear sounds of the Windigos sort of laughing, and you hear them say, "Return and feast again." And that's Windigo. If you would like to follow more of Murder House Productions and see what we're up to next, see behind the scenes, more behind the scenes of our attraction, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at MHP Haunt. We're on all those platforms. We post pretty frequently on Instagram. There's plenty of content for you to enjoy. And who knows where we might be next. Definitely something exciting is coming next for Murder House Productions. You have not seen The Last of Us, so thank you for watching. Thank you to Epic Home Haunts for being absolutely incredible and for including us. And I hope you enjoyed Murder House Productions Wendigo and this little exclusive behind the scenes tour. Thank you guys.